Pam Bondi just screwed up so royally that she just got Alina Habba disqualified from all cases in New Jersey because a federal judge just declared her to be a phony attorney general for New Jersey. Oh, yes, it just happened. Alina Habba just got disqualified, and a federal judge in 77 pages, Judge Brann, the chief judge in the Middle District of Pennsylvania handling the case by designation for New Jersey, went through the entire chronology of how Alina Habba didn't get the job, couldn't get confirmed for the job, then the phony attempt to make her own assistant, and then fire the person that the judges of New Jersey picked to be the U.S. attorney, then try to slide her back in, and then say she's really a special attorney, but she's the U.S. attorney, but she doesn't have all the powers of the U.S. attorney, and Judge Brann said, enough. I find that Alina Habba is impermissibly and illegally appointed to be the U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, which means everything that she's done and everything that she has touched and everything that she will touch is now voided. Now, the two defendants that brought the motion, I mean, one guy is going to make sure she's definitely not going to be able to be involved in his prosecution because she's been disqualified. But he also wanted his indictment dismissed, and that's not happening. But the good news is, finally, a federal judge has called out Pam Bondi in the Department of Justice and Donald Trump for their attempt to shove down our throat people that are not qualified to be U.S. attorneys and try to circumvent the confirmation process at the Senate. You're seeing it in the Northern District of New York with John Sarcone. You saw it with Alina Habba here. You saw it, you're seeing it in Nevada and 5 or 6 other places. And now one federal judge, the chief judge of the Middle District of Pennsylvania, has said, enough, enough. I'm Michael Popok. It's not enough. You're on MeidasTouch and Legal AF. Let me talk about this order. First, how did we get here? Well, there's a drug case out of New Jersey called Gerard, and another guy who's in that as a defendant named Pina. And they got the bright idea, and their lawyers got the bright idea to file a motion to dismiss their indictment and to disqualify Alina Habba because they watched as Donald Trump abused and rejected all 21 judges of the federal bench of the District of New Jersey who did not extend Alina Habba's time to be the acting U.S. attorney until Donald Trump got around to picking a U.S. attorney who could be confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Donald Trump doesn't care whether his picks get confirmed by the U.S. Senate. He'll figure out a way through the back door to make them the U.S. attorney the de facto U.S. attorney. And that's what he just got caught doing. So she had 120 days under the statute that relates to this to get confirmed. It was obvious she was not going to get confirmed, that the 2 senators were not going to turn in their blue slips for her in New Jersey, Cory Booker and Andrew Kim. And without that, there was no way she was getting confirmed as a United States attorney for the District of New Jersey, especially since she spent the entire time while she was still a nominee attacking the rule of law, arresting blue city mayors like Baraka, going after the governor of the state, the attorney general of the state, going on right-wing media platforms and saying she was going to turn New Jersey, my beloved home state, from blue to red. I mean, just a political hack of the first order. So, of course, when her 120 days ran out and Donald Trump didn't have another nominee up in the pipeline for the Senate to confirm, and there was this gap coming, the New Jersey, all 21 judges of the federal bench voted against extending her time. That's why the case had to be reassigned by the Third Circuit Chief Judge, which sits over New Jersey, to another judge in the circuit, not in New Jersey, because all of them were basically disqualified because they all ruled against Alina Habba. So it lands in the desk of Chief Judge William Brann, Middle District of Pennsylvania, sitting by designation in New Jersey. He gets the motion to dismiss. We knew it was coming today, by the way, the ruling. He said he would rule by today. Let me read to you, and I'll also post this in the Legal AF Substack for all to see, just so we can see this together. Let's start with his conclusion, because that's where we are. And I'll give you the reasons. For the above stated reasons, Judge Brann said, the remaining aspects of the motion is granted, and Mr. Pina's motion is granted in part and denied in part, I disqualify Ms. Habba from engaging in the prosecutions of the Gerards and Mr. Pina and from supervising the same. Any assistant U.S. attorney who prosecutes the Gerards or Pina under the supervision or authority of Ms. Habba in violation of my order is similarly subject to disqualification. I deny Mr. Pina's motion to dismiss the indictment and his request for access to the grand jury materials. Now, what he hasn't done yet, because it wasn't before him, is disqualify her from everything in the District of New Jersey. But now, this is the perfect framework for every criminal defendant to bring a similar motion citing back to this case, which is going to end up at the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. Now, who's sitting on the Third Circuit Court of Appeals? Get ready. Emil Bove. Emil Bove, yes, Donald Trump's former criminal defense lawyer who worked with Alina Habba. Will he recuse himself, even though he was the number 3 in the Department of Justice? He should. Will he? Who really knows in Trump world? I mean, all we can do is attack him, criticize him, but it's going to be, let's be frank, it's going to be ultimately up to him whether he's going to recuse himself or not. If I was a betting person, I don't think he recuses himself at all. But listen, again, we will have to see where that ends up. All right, let me read to you from Judge Brann's order. And he says the executive branch has, this is his first page, the executive branch has perpetuated Alina Habba's appointment to act as the United States Attorney for the District of New Jersey through a novel series of legal and personnel moves, including firing the person that the 21 judges had appointed, Desiree Grace. Along the way, it has disagreed with the judges of the United States District Court for the District of New Jersey and criminal defendants in that district about who should or may lead the office. Faced with the question of whether Ms. Habba is lawfully performing the functions and duties of the office of the United States Attorney for the District of New Jersey, I conclude that she is not. So yes, it pertains to these defendants, but you have a federal judge, and it hasn't been contradicted by any other ruling that she is not lawfully performing the functions of the U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey. And as I said at the top of the hot take, he relied on things that Pam Bondi's Department of Justice said. See, they freaked out, they said, well, belt and suspenders, we better make her the special attorney under my power as an attorney general under the Constitution. I make you the special attorney with all of the powers of the U.S. Attorney for the District of New Jersey. But then in court filings, they said, well, not all the powers. She's not exactly like a U.S. attorney under the attorney general. And the judge says, she certainly looks like it. If it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, you've said she has all the powers in other filings. Alina Habba has said she has all the powers of being the U.S. attorney. And the judge says, well, if she has all the powers, then she has violated the statute that relates to this on confirmation and our own Constitution. He goes on to say the pending motions challenge the legality of Alina Habba's appointment to serve as the acting United States Attorney for the District of New Jersey. They also raise questions about the viability of actions that she took. After reviewing several issues of first impression, the court concludes that Ms. Habba has exercised the functions and duties of the U.S. Attorney since July 1st, 2025. Her actions since that point may be declared void, including her approval of the indictment of one of the defendants that brought the motion here. And because she is not currently qualified to exercise the functions and duties of the office in any acting capacity, she must be disqualified from participating in any ongoing cases. Well, that's interesting. See, just to change my earlier comment, he is ruling that she cannot participate in any ongoing cases or even future cases accordingly, and then he grants the relief. Now, then he spends about the next 60 pages walking through the timeline of how Donald Trump wrapped himself around the ankle, wrapped himself around the axle, where am I today, in order to save his office wife, Alina Habba. All of the, well, I couldn't get her appointed, and then I let her resign. But then after she resigned, I reappointed her as her own deputy. But then I fired the person that the 21 judges put in, and then I tried to slide her in from the first deputy into be the full-time acting interim. And when I didn't think that would work, then I did the special attorney appointment under the Constitution, where I gave her all, but maybe not all of the powers. Is everything okay now? No. Judge Brann said, you are just doing an end run around the confirmation process. That's the heart of our separation of powers and checks and balance. And you cannot do that. You can't give indefinite extensions of the 120 days in office while you scramble around behind the scenes and try to find somebody that'll fit. And you can't keep appointing the same person over and over and over again. Look, this is the way it's supposed to work. This is Brandt now talking effectively. You as the president nominate somebody. Okay. You have 120 days to get that person, it's 4 months to get that person through the confirmation process. If they're not total and complete jagoffs, that's a legal term. Then if you need more time, I'm sure the judges of the district in which she operates, because that's what the statute says, will give her more time and extend her position. But if she's going to run around and be a political hack bashing everybody, a la Ed Martin, who also didn't get confirmed, then she's not going to get the extension. And if by the time that's over, she's not confirmed, then the only person that can fill the role next is not another appointment by the president. It's the judges of the district in which the U.S. attorney operates who can then appoint somebody for another 120 days to give the president more time to get a nominee through. But he's out of the process. President gets one nominee, and then if that doesn't work, he has to sit until his next nominee, and then the judges appoint their prosecutor. That's it. There's no other, well, I could fire the person who's in the job, and then I could elevate, and then the special attorney, which is in the Constitution, which I objected to when I was at Mar-a-Lago against Jack Smith, and said that was an improper appointment, but I'm using that same provision now to appoint improperly U.S. attorneys who aren't being confirmed by the Senate. Get it? That's where we're at. That's the part that people don't cover as much. That same provision of the Constitution that Pam Bondi's using is the same one that Donald Trump's lawyers, and what were their names again? Right, Todd Blanche, the number 2 now in the Department of Justice, and who else? Emil Bove, right, who's now on the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, who may get this case if he doesn't recuse himself. They were arguing to Judge Cannon successfully, the special attorney provision, that Jack Smith, he's got to go through Senate confirmation and the whole thing. You can't use the special attorney. And then they're doing the exact same thing. They're trying, except they're doing it with U.S. attorneys who have to get Senate confirmation. Oh, it's mind-boggling. But not to William Brandt, who's the chief judge in Pennsylvania, having just made a ruling to disqualify Alina Habba. Not just for these 2 defendants, but from every case that's now pending in New Jersey. Okay, so insert Donald Trump ketchup pack throwing here. I'm sure he's going to call, William Brandt is not a liberal leftist Marxist, but I'm sure he's not going to like this decision. And they're going to have to take some sort of emergency appeal and ask for a stay, which has not been granted yet, up at the Third Circuit. Now watch carefully, and I'll cover it on Legal AF YouTube channel and also here on Meidas. Watch to see if Emil Bove somehow gets randomly selected for this case at the appellate level, and if he recuses himself or not, because he should. Till my next report, on all things Legal AF, I'm Michael Popok.
Hey everybody, Ben Meiselas here from the MeidasTouch Network. I wanted to let you know about my podcast partner, Michael Popok's new law firm. It's called the Popok Firm. Michael Popok's pursuing his dream of starting his own law firm, really based on the popular demand by all the Meidas Mighty and Legal AFers who are approaching Michael Popok with their cases and saying, can you help us? And at that time, Popok was not able to. So he went out on his own. He started the Popok Firm, where he is now handling catastrophic injury cases like car accident cases, trucking cases, malpractice cases, big negligence cases, wrongful death cases. So if you or someone you know have a case like this, the consultation with Popok's firm is free. Give him a call, see if you have a case. It's thepopokfirm.com, thepopokfirm.com, or you can call 877-POPOK-AF, P-O-P-O-K-A-F. So 1-877-POPOK-AF. Give Michael Popok a call, and I'm really proud of you, Popok. Thanks for all the hard work you're putting in.